Okay, guys, so for this particular demonstration, we're gonna create a very simple task, which is just to update the version of the data warehouse. So here you can see me just populating this form in Jira. The story point estimate here is 1, which is the lowest. Currently, we're using Kanban for database team, but in other teams in this project, people are using Scrum. So you can see me here just moving the task to in progress and then copying the Jira issue key, which is DB1212, to create a feature branch. So also in this project, we're using the Git flow workflow branching strategy. And that requires you to create a feature branch for any new features or changes. Okay, so now we're in the terminal, just updating my repo. And this is Visual Studio Code. We're actually doing the task now. So just creating a new source file. And this is going to be a SQL file. And for database change management, we're using Liquibase here, which is a change management system for databases. Okay, so this is a very simple example. As I said, this is using a stored procedure, which I wrote before for utility mainly. So you just call it, you pass it a string, which is 3.0 right now, and that's it. And then you add it to the basically the list of changes for a particular version, which we call change logs. So you can see here, just 2 files changed. So now I'm gonna try to commit and then push. All right, forgetting my Git. All right, so just I'm gonna add it and then commit and then push. Okay, so now it went to the server and we can take a look. As you can see, it is now in our Git repository, but in our branch, which is db1212. Now, one important thing to note here is that our current Cicd pipeline only tracks the mainline branch, which is develop, the main branch, as you can see here. And that's by design, so that the automation doesn't get triggered by every single feature branch or bug fix branch if we have one. So yeah, if we want to trigger the build and the automated process, all we gotta do is create a pull request and merge our changes to develop. Okay, so I'm just gonna simulate that, but typically, someone else code reviews our changes before the pull request gets accepted. So it's again part of the Git flow workflow, part of the software process, and it's really up to the team whether or not they want to implement something similar or maybe a little bit stricter. But right now, the Gobi database team is very small, and I'm the main guy that reviews code anyway. So I'm gonna create a pull request from our feature branch, and it's very simple. So typically, if you have multiple commits, it will populate here. But since I only have one, it's just there. We're just gonna let it be like that. And by the way, that reviewer field is not really a hard constraint. It's just more of like notifying them. But again, if your project requires a stricter review process, then there are features in Jira and Bitbucket that will allow you to put more restrictions. Yeah, you can review all the changes here. It's very simple. But in case people have comments or improvement suggestions, or even just want to flat out reject this pull request, if we're simulating that, all they got to do is like add something like a comment here. just gonna put this here. As you can see, this is a different person and I'm not talking to myself, then yeah, makes more sense, right? Yeah, so the reviewer can now then approve or decline right there. But for this test, or demonstration, I'm just gonna click approve. And it doesn't automatically merge that. And people can have multiple merge privileges. So in some of our repositories, only certain people can merge. Now, it just so happens that for this repository, I'm the one that's the admin. As you can see, this is just a warning. Like I mentioned earlier, the review process for us is more of a soft constraint and not a hard constraint. So it doesn't really prevent people from doing so. It just warns them if the changes did not have proper reviewers. Okay, so we can click this transition issue to done, so we don't have to go to Jira like this page earlier. And we can observe that. So you have this in progress right now. It's DB1212. And I'm saying here that once this merge succeeds, transition this to done. Okay. Now, the reason why it was able to make that reference is because of the name of our feature branch. So the Jira Atlassian ecosystem automatically detects keys. Okay, so now I'm going to merge this. And it's done. Now going back to our commit tree, you can see that tiny merging line right there. So now it's merged. If we look at our task, we can refresh it. Okay, I didn't need to refresh it. It just moved itself right there. So, you don't even have to open this. So it automatically moves it for you if you click that chat box earlier. So yeah, that's one of the automation. But the main thing that I wanted to show you, and this is like kind of the core of this demonstration, is the Cicd pipeline, right? So first, I'm going to show you what the server looks like. It looks like this. So this is a development server. This is a swarm cluster, so a Docker swarm consisting of 6 nodes, and these are all servers in AWS. Okay. Now, the things are running. There's one that's airing out right there, but that's not our concern right now. So we're mainly working on this, the Gobi DB service or Docker container. Okay, so it's running. You can see, we can watch this later once. So I start deploying. So now that we pushed code, this is Bamboo. This is the CI/CD pipeline in the Atlassian ecosystem. So we are in the Gobi project. We are going to take a look at the Gobi build. Okay, so here you can see 24 minutes remaining, and it builds different components of the product from the process node to the database node. And it's going to take 24 minutes. Okay, so here you can see the build page. You can see the revisions that it's building, and you can see what changes happened. So here I did this 2 commits, which is basically just updating the data warehouse version to 3, then merging that feature branch to the develop branch. You can see a live log at the bottom, and you also can see the Jira ticket or Jira issue that was created, the one that automatically changed to done. So yeah, this is going to take 20 minutes or so, and I'm just going to fast forward this video when this is done, so as not to make you, wait and stare at the loading screen for 20 minutes. You can see here, it finished successfully, and now it's automatically deploying to our test server here, Gobi Dev. So if I click on it, it's doing the deployment. Hopefully we can see it here as it happens. Okay. All right, so now you can see that I think the database node just is currently getting replaced. The database service, all right, now it finished. So this is basically the CD part of the CI/CD. So the first part that you saw earlier that took about 25 minutes was the CI part, which is continuous integration. Now the CD part, which is continuous delivery, is this one that basically delivers or deploys the software packages to our development server. And there we go. It just got replaced. If you noticed earlier, the updated timestamp here was a day before, which is 14/5, May 14. So now it's still red, so it's initializing, it's still starting. So let's just give it maybe a minute more. Okay, so we're now going to try to reconnect to the server, which our changes should have been automatically applied to with that automated deployment or delivery. So go back here, schemas, tables, and then Gobi prop. So this is another way to look at the data. You can just not write SQL statements. And there you have it. So it is now 3.0. So it basically went through all that pipeline and updated this particular instance of Gobi. Now, that's a very, very simple example, but obviously there are a lot of more complicated changes, especially when you're implementing features like, this creates an entirely different module, or say, for example, they also have a bunch of Python code in here. So this example that I showed you did not have automated tests on, but if you look at, let's just take a quick look at this. This is a UI component. We have this 438 tests in total. So you can have unit test, for example, even integration tests, you can have it here. Yeah, but if we look at like the successful runs, you can actually see the tests here and it's all green. Okay, so just like that. But depending on how you write the test, you can actually see error messages or stack traces in here as well. So it's very, very helpful, especially when the team gets bigger and it's harder to trace if something fails, who to talk to and who to assign tickets to. This system right here, if someone's code broke the build, it will automatically assign that issue to that person. So it's his job to fix it, or at least investigate what happened and contact the corresponding people that can fix the problem. All right, so that's it.